So good, baby. I wish I had an American flag just to wrap myself in.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Taste Like Music, Songs of the Year, 1985. If you're just joining us, every week, every Friday, we look at another year. We started in 1958. We're up to 1985. Previously, our channel was called Listography. So the videos before this have the listography on the thumbnail. But now we're starting fresh as Taste Like Music. We're in the mid-80s. And ready to go. I thought this was another poor year on the Billboard charts, but a very strong year on the wildcard side of things. Just a reminder, we picked 5 songs from the Hot 100 that could have charted at any point during the year. We do 5 more as wildcards that could have also charted, but we could also pick deep cuts, B-sides, any other type of track that we'd like. We hold one song back from one of those lists and save our very favorite song of the year for the end. We also choose our least favorite top 40 song of the year. So how are you guys feeling about 1985?
Same as every year in the 80s. Billboard charts are great. You're nuts. Joe, back me up.
Yeah, this is a hell of a year on the Billboard charts for singles. I didn't like this year much for albums. I had a tough time when we were doing our Album of the Year series. I believe I called it one of the probably the worst that we had done up to that point, which is a shame because it was the year I was born. So it's a very good year. But going through these charts, the Billboard, just everything, I could pick probably 100 songs easy that I really, 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 really like. Just off the Billboards, it's loaded.
Probably not as sharp as 84 and 83 in the charts, but still really good. And this is coming off of doing 2021 Billboard charts, so anything's going to seem like a really good lobster tail or something very choice. And I also thought the deep cuts were very competitive this year as well, which is reflective for the albums of the year. I thought 85 was loaded. Psycho Candy by Jesus and Mary Chain was my winner for albums of the year when we did that a year and a half ago about, and probably has not changed.
I'll kick it off with some picks from the Hot 100. I'm going to start with a cover song. I've got People Get Ready by Jeff Beck. He's joined by Rod Stewart here. I love his guitar playing on this track. His tone is great, just really soulful lead playing. Rod's back with Jeff Beck and sounds great. I've also got someone who's been on my list several times recently. I've got Tom Petty with Rebels from his Southern Accents record. Could have picked a couple songs from this record. 3 different songs charted in 85. But this one's probably my favorite of the 3. Just really great rock tune. One of Petty's more fist-pumping choruses. I think it's a really good rock song. Also going to go with And She Was by Talking Heads. One of Talking Heads' poppiest songs. Really catchy. There's some cool key changes in the song. And I love the imagery of the lyrics as well. Also has a really cool music video. My next pick is one that maybe some would consider like a guilty pleasure sort of song, but whatever, I love it. I think it's fantastic. I got Broken Wings by Mr. Mister. I love the sound of the track. It's one of those songs that instantly transports me back to childhood. I don't know why. I don't remember listening to it a lot as a kid, but something about it feels very nostalgic. I think the vocal performance on it is insanely great as well. And lastly, I've got Voices Carry by Tilt Tuesday. Really cool track. It's got that very Missing Persons-esque synth line, incredible vocals from a young Amy Mann. There's some great bass work on the track as well. And there's so much emotion in every detail of the song, even the backing vocals, like the hush hush. Just so emotive, so great. I love it. And I love the way she starts to belt a little more at the end. Great track.
Broken Wings was a contender for my least favorite song of this year. You're like in the upside down bizarro world with 80s pop. So the other 4 picks are like respectable, but a little out of left field. All right, I guess I'll go. I think I'm going to share some with Joe. including this one. Oh, Baltimore, Tarzan Boy. I just sang you the chorus. That's the chorus, and it's friggin' awesome. It's a lot of fun. It's silly, it's playful, and it's catchy as hell. It is nothing it's not supposed to be, which is just pure joy and entertainment. Really awesome. I gotta also go with Joe's Girl, Kate Bush, with Running Up That Hill, which is great timing because there's like a meme surfacing around the last like week on social media, and it's like a bumper sticker on a car or something, or a back windshield sticker that says like, I'd rather be listening to Running Up That Hill by art pop sensation Kate Bush or something like that. It's awesome. This song is just tremendous. It's got just that like haunting, like pure like adrenaline in her sort of, mad, soft, feminine perspective, and it's just got that kind of gallop to it. Terrific song. I've also got Shout from Tears for Fears off their mega album, Songs from the Big Chair. Could have went with a lot of songs on here, but I think I go with this one because it's such a unique song to be really catchy. There's no way you could release a song that sounds like this today and it actually like chart or be popular, because it's got a really sinister kind of venomous sound. It's very metallic sounding with the percussion and everything. It's excellent. Vocals are tremendous, as in every Tears for Fears song. I'm also going to go with Don Henley with All She Wants to Do Is Dance. Really cool song. It's got that really cool, weird guitar sound to it. I think it's really catchy, a lot of fun. Just finding a reason to simply have feelings for a woman is just great. I think his voice sounds good. And I like kind of the bare drums and percussion in it. There's like no hi-hat or cymbal work really at all. It's just gives you a really cool, like dance floor pumping kind of groove. And then finally, this one almost was my winner this year. I'm going with Raspberry Beret by Prince. One of the coolest songs he's ever done. The lyrics are so much fun. I love when he says, I could tell she knew how to get her kicks. So cool. And one of my all-time favorite bridges ever, when it does a na 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 na, it comes in with like just this wave of really like heartfelt sincerity with those sort of strings and everything. I think it's awesome. Prince can do no wrong, really.
Interesting list from both of you. I did not expect. I guess I should have expected Tarzan Boy. I once requested that at a bowling alley. You could pay the DJ, like $1 or $2 to play a song. And as soon as I did, within like 30 seconds, someone paid the DJ like $10 to turn it off. So I was pretty pissed. I was like, how can you hate Tarzan Boy? Song rules. Didn't make my list though. Sorry, Cramsey. On my list, I'm going to go with Big Money from Rush. It charted, surprisingly. But I love the bass line alone. Just propels it into all-time territory for me. I believe it made my top 10 favorite Rush songs. And I just love Lifeson's guitar tone in the 80s. It's just magnificent, glorious. Also on my list, I'm going to do, we haven't mentioned her yet, I don't think, Madonna. I'm going to go with Dress You Up from 84's Like a Virgin. This one has a killer guitar solo from Nile Rodgers on it. It's probably like my second favorite, like random shredding guitar solo in a pop song after Beat It. But it rules. Super catchy, obviously. It's Madonna. She rules. Also on my list, I got a Tom Petty, but I'm going with Don't Come Around Here No More. Just so different for him. The drum machines, the synths. I believe it was produced by Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics. Best thing he ever did by far. With the female backing vocals, the repetition of it, it just totally expanded Petty's sound beyond anything he'd done up to that point, and just really amazing song. And finally, I'm going to do Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. And yes, that bumper sticker rules. My copy will be here any day now. I was hoping it would get here for the show. Didn't quite make it. But yeah, I love that drum beat, the momentum, propulsion of it. Really cool kind of blast of guitar from a guy who's going to make my list for another song. And just randomly researching this guy, Alan Murphy, who did a bunch of stuff with Kate Bush and some other 80s pop bands. but he's got a really kind of cool, heavy guitar sound that, but like really works on these pop songs. So I just thought I'd mention him. And my number one though is going to be saved for the winner's circle. Pretty much everything I picked charted at some point, so it doesn't matter. But I'll throw it on the billboards.
Don't Come Around Here No More was my number 6. Put Don Henley ahead of him. It's tough call.
I gotta say, I hate that Don Henley song. It almost made my least favorite.
Yeah, you made the wrong call there. You got to go with Petty over Don Henley, especially if you're going to come after me for Broken Wings, and then you're going to immediately list that Don Henley song and Tarzan Boy. Come on.
No, I got cred on that. You listed Broken Wings over Tom Petty.
I had a different Tom Petty song.
Unless you're in a grocery store, Broken Wings should never be a part of your life. Like, it's just no.
It's great. And so are these. I've got Fair and Young by Prefab Sprout, opening track to their album Steve McQueen. Love the train beat, the banjo. The guitar sounds like a country Johnny Marr. The vocals kind of recall Squeeze and Elvis Costello. The track was produced by Thomas Dolby, and it was the lowest ranking of their 16 charting singles, but maybe my favorite song of theirs. Next, I've got Rush. I didn't have big money because I was saving them for the wildcard side, and I got Emotion Detector. Back when we did our Rush list, I had this as my third favorite Rush song, and rightfully so. I think it's the perfect balance of their sonic experimentation in the 80s, their pop melodicism, their prodigious playing. I think this track sees them at their best at all of those things, and none of those things overwhelm the others. So I just think it's perfect. I've also got In Between Days by The Cure, one of my favorite Cure songs, if not my favorite. Just, I love that relentless acoustic guitar going through the track. Propels the whole song forward the whole time. The drumming on it is great. The synth leads are great. The lyrics are fantastic. I think it's just a perfect pop song. Next, I'm going with Love Vigilantes by New Order, which I think is a great bit of storytelling about a soldier returning home from Vietnam. It's got a great pop melody. I love the guitars too. They're super hooky on their own. And I love how those like guitar hooks kind of work with the vocal melody. And that's it. I've got saving my winner for the end.
Really wanted to get something from Head on the Door from The Cure on here. Probably would have went with Push. I don't know. Nothing quite made it from that album. I see that more as a whole rather than standout songs, but in a couple years with Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, that'll probably be a different story for my lists. We're all picking songs off Power Windows here. I'm going with Marathon, which I thought Jason was about to proclaim, but great call with Big Money and Emotion Detector. It's a fantastic album. Yeah, I mean, Marathon is awesome. It's got a ridiculous bass line, which you could say about every Rush song pretty much. It's got just a really cool, rhythm, and, it doesn't sound like anything else. But the thing that sets this song apart is it has maybe their catchiest chorus ever. Like, it's just so perfectly written. The melody is just brilliant, and it's like a 6.5 minute song, and it doesn't feel like it. It's just like a stretched out pop song. Really cool solo in it. And then at the end, when like the big chorus comes in and it just kind of explodes like fireworks, it's awesome. From my album of the year winner, I've got the song by Jesus and Mary Chain that everyone knows, Just Like Honey. You can't go wrong with it. It's awesome. It's got that dark, brooding, blood heart kind of feel to it. I think I called it like a subterranean London Beach Boys kind of sound, because it's got that pretty pop sensation with just that gloomy shadow all over it. It's got tremendous lyrics, simple, I'll be your plastic toy, got a great sound to it, and it's just really, really pretty and catchy. I've also got From Tim by The Replacements, my favorite song from that album, Swingin' Party. Really cool, casual sway to it. It's got like that kind of 50s diner-esque slow dance vibe to it. Really cool. And then I'm going to go with a deep cut here from a band and an album I don't think a lot of people know. I'm going with Green on Red from their album Gas, Food, and Lodging with That's What Dreams Are Made Of, which doesn't really sound like anything else going on in the 80s. It's not poppy, doesn't have Philly horns, it's not sentimental or hair metal or college rock or synth heavy. It sounds like a grungy, raw, stripped down garage band that wants to be Neil Young and a few other kind of really just awesome electric guitar heavy acts. It's got a great chorus, and it's just got a really cool sound to it. I love it. Love that album, but that's the lead off track, probably my favorite on it. And saving my winner, which I will spoil, will surprise the hell out of you guys because we never talk about this artist. And also, I will be shocked if I get more than 3 to 5 votes. So just throwing in the white towel now. Someone else take the trophy.
Really aiming for the low score. It's not golf, Cramser. It is not golf. All right, this is a tough one for my personal picks. Some of these are just completely outlandish, but number 5, I got Don't Look Down from a little band called Go West. This one would chart in the US in 86, I think, but I'm throwing it on now, damn it. Pino Palladino has a righteous little bass kicker to start the song, really cool, kind of like slap, slide kind of thing. And the aforementioned Alan Murphy pops up again to do some cool guitar licks on it. Other than that, it's a really catchy song from a band. It doesn't get mentioned much, but they had some cool hits. Also on my list, I thought I'd be done with him, but he's back for more. Stephen Wonder, he's back. I'm gonna go. There's a couple of tracks from In Square Circle I could throw on here, but I'm gonna go with Overjoyed. I mean, even 20 years after his debut, he still can sing. Just, when he hits those notes, it's just amazing what he can do with his voice. And, even, we're past his classic period, but he's still cranking out some pretty fantastic songs here in the mid 80s. Doesn't get too cheesy. An interesting mix of like ambient noises on here. Like there's some like water dropping and like birds chirping underneath him singing, but it all works because it's Stevie. Also on my list, this album was not eligible for albums of the year, but it is the best album of the year. I'm going to go with War Fanfare by Vince DiCola, the soundtrack to Rocky IV, baby. Such a good soundtrack. Every one of these songs rules. And I could have picked this or the training montage, 2 of just the greatest montages of all time. I love it. I'd listen to this just to get pumped up for things. It's great. Speaking of, I got to go with another track from the same album. I'm going to go with John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band's Hearts on Fire. Just an amazing song. So great. Those synths might be the most 80s synths just ever put on tape. Just incredible. He sounds like, Bruce Springsteen mixed with John Mellencamp, and this was his only good song, really. But what a song! Went out on top, baby. Number 1, though, I got to give it to my man Prince, but not Raspberry Beret. I'm going with my favorite track off of Around the World in a Day, Pop Life. This is kind of the shift from like I'm going to be the greatest pop star in the world to a little more social consciousness. Gets a little deeper. Gets a little funkier, a little sparser, but this song still has all the hooks you need, but with the social commentary. It's some cool lyrics, probably my favorite that he ever did, and just a great song. So it's gonna be my number 1. Raspberry Beret, though, it's just as good. I can't put one really ahead of the other, but I'm gonna go with this one for this circumstance.
All right, worst of the year. Several contenders this year, but I am going with Sidewalk Talk by Jelly Bean. Jelly Bean Benitez is a record producer, and this song was written by Madonna. He produced Madonna's first record, so this was like, I guess, a return favor type of thing. Marcus Miller plays bass on it, and it's kind of interesting. This song wasn't commercially available at first. It was only released to like nightclubs and DJs, and only after 8 months did they finally release like a 7-inch and 12-inch single so that it was able to chart. So in a way, this song is kind of like a cool relic of like early hip hop dance music. and kind of like a very early example of the pop crossover appeal of the genre, but it's just a terrible song. It's so bad. The lyrics are horrible. The vocal cadence is really, really bad. Trying to cram too many words into too few syllables doesn't work. Madonna sings on the chorus. She doesn't sing lead vocals, but her voice does kind of come in and overtake the chorus. But just does not hold up well at all. Very corny sounding, very cheesy. Nothing about the track really works for me. So gotta say that's the worst of the year.
I am going with failed supergroup The Power Station with Some Like It Hot. I will say it is well played. There's good bass on it and it's tight, but the parts they wrote are just obnoxious and terrible. It's just like an ugly sounding song to me. When those drums come in are just like it's just does nothing about it sounds good. And especially Robert Palmer, who I usually really like, he's so bizarrely, like, terribly, disgustingly, aggressively sexual with the way he's enunciating. It's like James Hetfield doing like lush 80s pop, like, yeah. It's so weird and it's so stupid. And it's just got a terrible sound to it. I hate how he does a some like get with the guitar. Like it's just a hideous melody. Like, I don't know. I just think it's nothing about it. It's just I hate it. I hate it. It did give us that great Family Guy joke in the Star Wars thing when they're like, take out the power station, but that's the power station they're talking about. So almost saved it, but not quite. I just always hated this song. It's just an ugly song to me. Nothing about it sounds good.
My worst song of 85, couple contenders, nothing too egregious that I found. So I'm going to go with one from a band. Always kind of comes back to bands that I think kind of fell off a cliff. I'm going to go with Be Near Me from ABC, who I love. I love their first album. But there's something about this song, really cloying, just the way he sings, be near me, be near me, be near me. Like it has this weird melody or something that just doesn't sit well with me. And I don't know, maybe it's because I really like The Look of Love. This one just always, I can't even listen to the whole thing. I don't think I've ever made it all the way through the song. So it's my loser for 85. It's probably not the worst song of 85, but something about it just irks me, bugs me. Don't like it.
If Cram says he's not going to win, then Joe's probably going to walk away with it this year because I'm not putting up much of a fight either. I'm going with an artist that is one of my most nominated artists so far, but he's getting his first win today.
Are you going with something off Empire Burlesque?
No.
Okay.
No, I've had Dylan win several times.
Dylan never stops winning. I swear to God, if he wins one more time.
He'll win again, probably.
Yeah, probably. I've got Todd Rundgren with Pretending to Care from his a cappella record. This track, obviously not going to be for everybody. A cappella is a pretty weird record. He used an early piece of technology called an emulator. It was kind of like a vocal sampler to make the record. So the whole record is his voice. And on a lot of the other tracks, he's using his voice as like a bass and a drum sound and, affecting the vocals so that they sound like instruments. But on this track, it's very much more straightforward. He's just layering voices, not really affecting them in any major way. It sounds like an a cappella group singing, which for a lot of people, I'm aware, will make them think that this song is really corny. But I think the writing of the track is incredible, and it is some of the best singing I've ever heard in my life. I think it's one of the all-time great vocal performances, and you can see why he's hired to do vocal arrangements for people like Celine Dion, because it is just a thing to behold. It's amazing. So yeah, that's my winner, Pretending to Care, 1985.
All right. Well, we told everyone the name of the channel was changing and all that, rebranding, but nothing was going to change. Then these assholes pick out Rocky montage songs and a cappella songs as their high marks for 85. So sorry, everyone. If you want to just quit watching forever, we understand. You guys blew it. Speaking of acapella, I do want to give a shout out to one of our commentators, Jose Jones, I believe, sent that link about the guy that recorded OK Computer in its entirety with just his mouth. And it's hilarious and incredibly impressive. It's such a cool YouTube watch if you ever get that. Here's what I got. I would assume I will get some commentators lauding my pick here, but Joe will likely get the mass approval. I've got Celebrated Summer by Husker Du. Very different track for them, probably their most well-known song to people on the fringe of Husker Du. Husker Du diehards will be like, really? But, you know, it's the song that I first heard. I still love it. It's got that reined in hardcore punk kind of sound and gives you just a really lovely melody and a lovely sentiment about, you know, innocence of summer. I like when he's like, do you remember the first snowfall? You know, or the first winter is a snowball's chance in hell or something like that. It's just a really pretty song. The guitar tone is awesome. It's got their amazing bass work. Like you can hear just like 90s and early 2000s punk acts loving the bass here, especially like from Green Day and stuff. It's just dancing all over. It's just awesome. And then that breakdown into the soft acoustic guitar and the soft nature of the singing is really awesome. Reflective song about, you know, being young and in summer and full of life. It's a tremendous song by a tremendous band we don't really talk about much, Husker Du. So that's my winner. I'll take my 7 to 8 votes. Let's go. Let's go.
You're getting a lot more than 7 to 8 votes for that. Just the fact that you mentioned Husker Du is going to get you dozens of votes. Jason will get 0, I think. I think this might be the lowest ever. And I'm trying to think, like, I want to change my pick to find like the lowest, worst possible song that I could pick that I like that would still win. I feel like if I picked like Goodbye by Night Ranger, I think I'd still squeak out a victory, but that's not my pick, although I do like that song.
Just make one of those Rocky songs your winner, and then we'll have a fair fight.
Well, I'm trying to think which ones charted. There's a couple of Survivor songs from there that would have charted.
No easy way out. There's
Robert
no
Tepper.
shortcut home.
Yeah, no, that one charted. That would be a good one. That almost made my list as well.
If you cut
Could have just
out
gone.
if you cut out the montages in Rocky 4, that movie is 9 minutes long. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, I mean that's why it's so great. It also won the Cold War. My winner, however, is going to be, this is tough because there's 2 songs from this album that are equally as great, but I got to go with Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Tears for Fears. It's either this or Head Over Heels for me. I think they're both literally perfect, 10 out of 10s. And there's something about this song, the little twinkly synths that start and that guitar slide that comes in. It's like everything is arranged so perfectly. The lyrics are great. It starts out with that welcome to your life. It's just like that is so 80s and so perfect. It works on so many levels. And it's just one of those songs that like I've heard literally a million times, like infinitely amount of times I've heard this song. And it never drops in quality because there's so many little interesting parts to it. The guitar solo at the end, the bridge with when they come back in with the like really heartfelt vocals. And I just think it's one of those perfect songs that's like, even like I didn't want it to be my winner because it seems like too obvious again, but I've kept going back to it over and over and like, God, I can't not love this song and think it's just perfect. So it is my winner. It's a boring, kind of obvious winner for 85, but you know, it's a perfect song. I can't speak a single ill word of it from their great album, Songs from Big Chair. Tears for Fears, baby.
Joe's picking songs Jason and I have performed live like every year right now. It's a big groupie of ours.
Didn't
I
realize.
also like that it's in like a lower register, so it's really good for singing along, like in the car. Like you can just really belt it out because it's like anybody can kind of hit those notes. Makes you feel good about yourself.
I didn't realize how formative those early Happy Economy shows were for Joe and him out in the audience, just really shaping his musical taste.
He's there with like a flashlight and a notepad, like, I would do a songs list. Yeah.
All right, everybody. So make sure to drop down below in the comments what your favorite songs of the year are. Let us know what you think of our lists. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet. Hit the bell for notifications, check the description. You'll find a link there to our website where you can vote for which of our songs of the year is your favorite. We've been keeping a running tally. Do we have an update? Are we able to update?
Yes, we do. We'll do 84. We'll save 2021. 84, another victory for Prince, my man, and me, of course. Little red Corvette. Took a surprising run by Thompson twins. They got some votes. That gives me 14. Jason second with 11.5. Kramzer 7.5. I believe his time has come and gone. He's out of it.
All right. So in addition to voting, you'll also find playlists down in the description. So you can check out any of these songs that were mentioned. And yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.